Imagine booking a flight right now. You think you just scored an absolute steal on a ticket, but then you realize that the airline considers literally everything a luxury upgrade. And I mean everything. The right to bring a change of clothes is an upgrade. The right to sit next to the person you are traveling with is an upgrade. The honest truth is that airlines are quietly and aggressively making flying an objectively worse experience for everyone. And it feels like we are all just collectively accepting it because we really have no other choice. It genuinely blows my mind how we went from a time when checking a bag and getting a little snack were just normal parts of the journey. Now we are in this modern era where buying a basic economy ticket basically treats you like you are shipping yourself as freight. You buy that base ticket and suddenly you are hit with a massive barrage of restrictions that make absolutely zero logical sense from a customer standpoint. They intentionally strip away your ability to pick a seat, so you are inevitably stuck in the dreaded middle seat. You are sandwiched between two frustrated people fighting for an armrest that has somehow gotten noticeably narrower over the last decade. The actual pitch of the seats, which is the physical distance between your seat back and the one directly in front of you, has shrunk so drastically over the years. If the person ahead of you leans back even a fraction of an inch, their headrest is practically resting in your lap. They do all of this on purpose to make basic economy so profoundly uncomfortable and stressful. They want you to feel genuinely forced to pay an extra $50 or $80 just to upgrade to a standard economy ticket. And here's the kicker. That standard economy ticket you just paid a premium for is exactly what basic economy used to be just a few short years ago. It is an incredibly brilliant and completely evil psychological trick to raise ticket prices without technically raising the advertised sticker price. And we fall for it every single time we click the book button on their websites. And if you think you can just bite the bullet and pay the regular fees to check a bag, you are in for a massive shock. The airlines have completely reset their pricing strategies to squeeze every last cent out of your wallet. Just recently in April 2026, practically every single major airline in the country, including United, Delta, and American, sneakily raised their checked baggage fees in a massive, coordinated wave across the entire industry. We are now firmly in an era where you have to pay $45 for your first bag if you pay online in advance, and that jumps up to a ridiculous $50 if you wait until you get to the airport counter. And heaven forbid you actually need to pack a little heavier for a long trip. Checking a third bag on airlines like United and Delta will now set you back a staggering $200. But the absolute wildest part of this fee grab is what JetBlue decided to pioneer. They literally introduced surge pricing for your luggage. Like a rideshare app during a rainstorm, JetBlue now uses a dynamic peak and off-peak pricing model. The cost to check a bag fluctuates based on how busy the travel day is. This means your suitcase literally gets more expensive on holidays for absolutely no reason other than the fact that they know you are stuck. For example, their first bag fee can hit $49 during peak times. They are turning baggage fees into a competitive weapon against their own passengers. They are completely shifting the entire cost structure of travel. Sometimes the privilege of bringing your belongings actually ends up costing more than the entire base fare of the flight itself. It is honestly absurd that the physical process of moving your clothes from one city to another has become the main way these companies make their profit. Now, the logical workaround to avoiding those insane checked bag fees has always been just stuffing everything into a carry-on. But the airlines have caught on to that too. They are cracking down on carry-on enforcement with an absolute iron fist. In 2026, airlines are shifting toward an incredibly strict universal standard of 22 by 14 by 9 inches for carry-on luggage, and they are now brutally measuring the entire bag. That includes the wheels, the handles, and the little plastic bumpers on the bottom. So that trusty suitcase you have been using for the last 5 years might suddenly be rejected at the gate without warning. But they are not just relying on human gate agents anymore. They are literally testing automated scanners at boarding gates that instantly measure your bag. These machines flag anything oversized by even a single millimeter without any room for negotiation or human sympathy. Some airlines are even removing those metal sizer bins at the gate altogether. They do this just to increase the gate agent discretion, which inevitably results in way more surprise gate checks right as you are trying to board the plane. And it is not just the airlines getting stricter about this. The National Security Administration massive rollout of new three-dimensional scanners at hundreds of airports features much smaller entry tunnels than the old X-ray machines. Because the opening is strictly limited in size, the security machines themselves have accidentally become the very first line of bag size enforcement. If your bag is slightly too thick and cannot slide into the machine, the security officer will not even screen it. They will literally make you do the walk of shame back to the airline counter to pay a massive fee to check it. It is a completely broken system designed to trap you into paying more. This aggressive clampdown on luggage has completely destroyed the boarding process. It has turned what used to be a calm walk onto a plane into an absolute free-for-all cage match. Because everyone is terrified of being forced to gate check their bag and pay unexpected fees, the boarding area becomes a war zone. The exact second the gate agent announces boarding, half the terminal immediately swarms the desk in a massive and unorganized mob. This is what people are now calling the carry-on crunch. Passengers are fighting to get on the plane early just to secure a tiny sliver of overhead bin space. And you really cannot even blame them when you look at the planes we fly on today. Regional jets have overhead bins that are so small that even perfectly compliant bags will not physically fit inside them. So you end up standing in the hot jet bridge for 20 minutes while the flight attendants play a stressful game of Tetris. They are just trying to jam everyone's stuff into the ceiling, delaying the flight and making everyone angry before the plane even pushes back from the gate. And if something actually goes wrong during this miserable experience, you are completely out of luck. Genuine customer service has basically gone extinct in the airline industry. Instead of talking to a human being who can actually fix your rebooking or find your lost bag, airlines have trapped us in an endless loop. It is an endless loop of unhelpful artificial intelligence chatbots and automated phone trees. They constantly tell you your call is important while keeping you on hold for 3 straight hours. They have intentionally engineered a system where getting any form of actual assistance is incredibly frustrating. It is so needlessly time-consuming that most people just completely give up. They just accept whatever terrible outcome the airline hands them. It is honestly wild that we pay thousands of dollars to these massive corporations. Yet when a flight gets canceled, the best they can offer is a broken app interface and a generic apology email. And to make matters completely worse, we have to talk about the frequent flyer miles. The one saving grace that used to make putting up with all this nonsense worth it was the loyalty programs, but those have been so severely devalued that they are practically meaningless for the average traveler right now. Back in the day, you could actually save up your miles and count on a simple and straightforward award chart. You could use that chart to book a dream vacation or a quick domestic hop across the country. But now, airlines have completely nuked those charts and switched entirely to dynamic pricing. This means the amount of miles you need for a flight fluctuates wildly based on cash prices and daily demand. You finally hit what used to be the golden number of points for a free trip. Then you log into the app and see that the exact same flight now costs 4 times as many miles as it did yesterday. On top of that, achieving elite status used to be about how much you actually flew. It rewarded the loyal road warriors who physically sat in the metal tubes week after week. But today, status is almost entirely tied to how much money you spend on their branded credit cards. They have essentially morphed from transportation companies into massive credit card banks that just so happen to fly airplanes on the side. The entire ecosystem of modern commercial aviation is fundamentally designed to extract maximum monetary value from you at every single turn. They do all of this while delivering the absolute bare minimum in passenger comfort and operational reliability. It leaves us totally exhausted and completely broke before the vacation even officially starts. It is a wildly frustrating reality. But until we get some serious regulatory changes or actual meaningful competition in the industry, nothing will change. We are all just stuck paying dynamic surge pricing for the miserable privilege of squeezing into a shrinking seat.